Hi there. Is the sun out where you're at? Here I can smell the pine wafting up from the warmed earth, and I welcome it. Wherever you are, I hope you have water to drink that is clean and cool and abundant when you need it. I wish this for you and for every person here where I am and around the globe. Today is Wednesday, June 11th. My name is Grover, and this is Grover Reads the News. Would you like to hear an update? If so, have a listen. If not, I'll offer again in 3 weeks after a planned pause to attend to the demands of the body and of life. And with that, let's face the news together. First up, we have news from the US about protests in LA and around the country, and the executive office's increased attacks on immigrants. Over the past week, masses of people in Los Angeles have taken to the streets to protest ICE's increased raids on Los Angeles residents, where they've chased farm workers through blueberry fields and day laborers across Home Depot parking lots. The Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency announced it will triple its daily arrest targets, and as such has increased its raids on workplaces, restaurants, school transfer sites, and other places where they can snatch groups of regular people who are active parts of the community. Trump fulfilled a campaign promise by activating more than 4,000 National Guard members and 700 Marines over the objections of Los Angeles and California leaders. California Governor Newsom says the federal military are not needed nor wanted in response to the protests. On Wednesday morning, Los Angeles police arrested at least 25 protesters in the city's downtown area after imposing a downtown curfew following days of protest by masses of people against Donald Trump's increased crackdown and the military deployment in response to it. Protests against ICE have spread to dozens of other U.S. cities, and a mass day of action against the administration and their dictatorial cosplay birthday party is planned for Saturday in more than 1,500 cities and towns. Also, on Monday, Trump's latest travel ban went into effect. It will bar entry to the U.S. for people from Myanmar, formerly known as Burma, in addition to those from Afghanistan, the Republic of Congo, Equatorial Guinea, Eritrea, Haiti, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and Yemen, dividing families and increasing challenges for those fleeing violence, seeking study, or working in the U.S. Next, we have international news about Haiti, then Gaza, then South Korea. Reuters reports that a record 1.3 million people have been forced to leave their homes in Haiti due to a surge in armed violence in the last 6 months, according to the UN Agency for Migration. The number of people internally displaced in the Caribbean country has jumped 24% since December, according to the International Organization for Migration. It is the highest number of people displaced by violence ever recorded by the International Organization for Migration in Haiti. Gangs armed with weapons, largely trafficked from the United States, have formed an alliance in the capital, Port-au-Prince, and together control 85% of the city, according to the UN. In February, UNICEF reported a surge in sexual violence against children in Haiti. Many displaced people are living in makeshift shelters and do not have access to health care, schooling, or clean water. In news from Gaza, Swedish climate activist Greta Thunberg was deported from Israel on Tuesday, a day after the Israeli Navy seized their small aid ship, through which she and 11 other activists sought to break a long-standing naval blockade of Gaza in order to deliver a small amount of aid relief supplies in a second attempt of the pro-Palestinian Freedom Flotilla coalition to break the blockade. Meanwhile, Israeli gunfire and airstrikes killed at least 41 Palestinians in Gaza on Wednesday, most of them at an aid site operated by U.S.-backed Gazan Humanitarian Foundation. Medical officials at Shifa and Al-Quds hospitals said at least 25 people were killed by Israeli gunfire as they approached the aid site near the former settlement of Netzarim, and dozens were wounded, reports Reuters. Finally, in a resolution to the attempted authoritarian takeover by South Korea's former president, which was stopped by a mass response from the people in the streets, refusal of military compliance, and civil society leadership, outspoken liberal leader Lee Jae-myung was elected as president last week. If you'd like to know more about any of these events, links to sources for these short summaries are available at the bottom of the Substack email or in the podcast show notes. Finally, we have nature news about parrots. How do communities rebuild when so many of its members and so much of where it lives has been destroyed? Reporting from Brazil, Mongbe shares a story of the red-tailed Amazon, a bird that likes to build its nest in the guanandi tree, a tree that roots deep and is able to grow 100 feet tall. The trees are a favorite of locals for furniture building, and the red-tailed Amazon looks like a classic pet parrot. Habitat loss paired with the illegal pet trade drove the red-tailed Amazon on the southeastern Brazilian coast to fewer than 5,000 individuals by the end of the 20th century. At one point, 80-year-old local fisherman Antonio de Luz dos Santos said there were only 4 nests in the forest that had parrots. In 2003, the Society for Wildlife Research and Environmental Education ventured into what remained of the Guanandi forest in search of Rasa Island's last red-tailed Amazons. Hollows for them to nest in had become scarce precisely because of the lack of these trees, and the solutions for conservationists was to build artificial nests, wooden boxes and PVC pipes suspended in the canopy, tailor-made for the red-tailed Amazon. Working with Antonio, the local fisherman-turned-bird nest builder, they crafted and placed 15 nests in the canopy, which were immediately 100% occupied. And so they grew to more than 100 nests installed over the next years on the island. In 2004, the red-tailed Amazon's status on the International Union for Conservation of Nature moved the bird from endangered to vulnerable, and in 2017 moved the bird up to near threatened, just one place before of least concern. In this category, it's the only Brazilian species whose population is increasing. While illegal trade of the parrots has not ended, the conservation efforts and the red-tailed Amazon's reestablishment of homes and community members. Of the 9,000 red-tailed Amazon parrots, 1,500 are on Rasa Island, already surpassing the number of residents, which is currently around 700. Elaine, the lead conservationist of this project, said, "Now the island breathes parrots. This is especially true at dawn and dusk, when their loud calls fill the air and pairs can be seen crossing the sky." So mote it be. May we all have the nests that we need, protection and help when we need it. I hope you go into the week of Juneteenth and the final weeks of Pride Month, able to feel connection to the people around you, their purpose and their power. I hope purpose and bravery wash over you in the moments that you need it, and that rest welcomes you into their embrace at just the right time. I'll talk with you again in July, so we can face the news together. Until then, be well.